Getting pretty rowdy already. Good afternoon, and welcome to you all. Please remain standing, if you could, for the national anthem, the singing of Veni Creator, and the opening prayer. After the national anthem, the Reverend Howard Gray of the Society of Jesus, Interim Vice President for Mission and Ministry, will introduce the invocation. The national anthem will be led by Alexander Nickel of Maryland, Georgetown College, class of 2017. Please join your voices with his.
The Veni Creator Spiritus is one of the most widely used Roman Catholic hymns. Written about the 9th century, it is sung at Pentecost and has been used for centuries at other solemn assemblies, including the beginning and the closing of the academic year. In this ancient hymn, we pray that God's Holy Spirit will fill our hearts with comfort, wisdom, and peace. The Veni Creator will be sung by members of Georgetown University's Phantoms. For this Senior Convocation, we have asked 2 members of the class who represent the Muslim and Hindu students of Georgetown to lead the opening prayer and the closing benediction. I now invite Omar Kajwal of Ohio School of Foreign Service, class of 2017, to deliver the opening prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Chapter 96, verses 1 through 4 of the Quran state, "Read, in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who has taught the human being by the pen." These very first words ever revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, show the centrality of knowledge to the development of one's faith. Let us remember today that our quest for knowledge does not cease when we walk out Healy Gates. Our education will be our lifelong companion. It will shape our perspective of the world, challenge our commonly held conceptions, and allow us to take action. Today, we ask God to bless the class of 2017 and pray that we are full of gratitude for our parents and families who have provided us strength and courage to make it this far, for our teachers and mentors who guide us and push us to expand the limits of our intellect, and for our peers and friends with whom we have formed lifetime bonds. That in our personal and professional lives, we remain men and women for others and pursue the highest of ideals, compassion, service, and social justice. And that we always advocate on behalf of those who are marginalized. That as we step into this new phase of our lives, we practice perseverance and humility, even if these virtues are bestowed upon us through tribulation. That we are agents of goodwill, bringing communities together and striving to achieve a greater peace. We ask this of our Lord and thank Him for all of His blessings. Amen.
Is that it? I thought we had another. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Please be seated. Members of the faculty and staff, representatives of the Alumni Association, members of the graduating class, parents and families of the senior class, ladies and gentlemen. The new student convocation that some of you attended for the class of 2017 was held on Sunday, August 25th, 2013. Other graduates came here as transfer students and experienced later convocations. You know, when you're on this podium looking down, you experience the new student convocation in a very different way than when you're in the audience. I remember that day and I could see the emotions running through the heads of new students. What was this event all about? What kind of place is this, after all, where you wear your graduation gown on the first day you've started? And these other students, how come they're so much smarter than I am? And on the sides were families, like today, some using tissues to blot out the tears, anticipating their beloved child being missing from the home, fearing both for their child and themselves, but also happy to witness the passage. Today is very different. This event is a bookend of the Georgetown experience. It's designed that way. Today on the sides, I see parents looking forward to jumps in their discretionary income. Some are quietly planning a home office where there was once a bedroom. But I can also feel the pure joy in the visible signs of success of their offspring. The families in this room, I hope, have a deep sense that this is one of those moments, those special moments in life when preparation and sacrifice of many have led to an unambiguous payoff. And in front of me Instead of student eyes looking like deer in the headlights, I see different looks. Confident eyes, some a little bloodshot, but confident eyes. At ease, expectant, excited, justifiably proud, a little older, a little wiser, and if our faculty's wishes were fulfilled, a little more centered on how each might give back, make a better world, truly be a woman or man for others. And these are all feelings worth savoring. You, our graduates, achieved this state by exposure to repeated small stressors of incorporating new knowledge into your worldview. Each course you successfully conquered made you stronger. Each person different from you that you befriended gave you skills to navigate this complicated world. Learning the stories of those less fortunate than you gave you the empathy to understand others. The time in faculty offices discussing a course, up late at night in dorm rooms, working in groups, all of this paid off for you. You did it, and we are very, very proud of you. You know, we live in a world where stopping for just a moment to reflect on one's status is unfortunately a rare event. This convocation is a deliberate, designed attempt to stop the noise of this transition in your lives. It asks you to look back on the years that you've just completed, you've spent here, but also to look ahead, to consider the enduring gift that Georgetown will be in your lives. Throughout this journey, you were accompanied by our faculty, represented by those behind me. They were there to push you when you needed pushing, to convince you that you could do more, and to care about you unceasingly. In a way, today is a sort of birthing day for them, and I know how deeply you appreciate them. President DeGioia, sitting in front of you are the graduating classes of Georgetown College, the School of Nursing and Health Studies, the Walsh School of Foreign Service, the McDonough School of Business, and the School of Continuing Studies. They represent 50 of the United States. And as the flags that flank them show, 64 other nations, 28 from Qatar, 25 from China, 23 from South Korea, 20 from the United Kingdom, 13 from Canada, 11 from India, 10 each from Pakistan and France, 9 from Italy and Mexico, 8 from Colombia and Spain, 7 each from Brazil and Turkey, 5 from Egypt, Hong Kong, Japan, and Venezuela, 4 from Jordan, Panama, and Singapore, 3 each from Australia and Ecuador, 2 each from Argentina, Bahamas, Bahrain, Bermuda, Bolivia, Greece, Ireland, Nepal, Netherlands, Nigeria, Peru, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, and Switzerland. And finally, 1 each from 27 other countries, including the Rosebud Sioux Tribe of the United States. Collectively, they have received over $119 million in scholarship support from Georgetown. They have won highly competitive graduate fellowships, scholarships, including 1 Rhodes, 1 Marshall, 2 Yenchings, 1 Albritton, 1 Wrangell, 4 Princetons, 1 St. Andrew's Society, 2 Presidential Fellows, 8 Fulbrights, and 12 critical language scholarships. 6 of them are being commissioned into the United States Army. 1 of them is being commissioned one into the United States Air Force and 2 into the United States Navy. At Georgetown, you have taken 62,282 courses. Do you remember those? Together, they've earned 182,000 credit hours. The youngest among them is 20 years old. The oldest among them is 66. They contributed to the more than 350 performances staged by the academic and co-curricular programs in music, theater, and dance, plus 32 led by faculty and student-led performing arts groups. In the last 4 years, seniors in the performing arts experienced audience attendance of over 50,000 patrons, and programs over the same period took in ticket sales revenues of approximately $400,000. In the past 2 years, 45 members of the class of 2017 have served as trip leaders and board members of the Center for Social Justice Alternative Breaks program, leading classmates on immersion experiences from Jamaica to West Virginia to New Orleans. 71 seniors have had leadership roles with the Center for Social Justice student organizations. 146 seniors have participated in one or more of 29 Georgetown varsity teams. During their time here, they have earned 155 academic honors, 12 league regular season or tournament championships. They've participated in 66 league championships, participated in 32 postseason NCAA tournaments, and earned more than 130 all-league athletic honors and 20 All-American honors. So, President DeGioia, here they are, 1,826 strong, Georgetown's class of 2017. If we could take a moment, and if you could please stand, we'd like to remember 2 of your classmates of 2017, Edward Blatz of the School of Business and Andrea Jamie of the School of Nursing and Health Studies. They were given every gift but the gift of time. In their memory, we will now observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Please be seated. To present the winner of the 2017 Dorothy Brown Prize, it is now my pleasure to introduce Anusha Khan from the United Arab Emirates School of Business, class of 2017, and outgoing president of the Georgetown University Student Government Association.
Thank you, Dr. Groves. Professor Elmendorf, if you would join me at the podium. The Dorothy Brown Award is presented to an outstanding faculty member whose contributions demonstrate a strong commitment to the educational advancement of students. The award is named to honor Professor Dorothy Brown, who between 1966 and 1998 was a distinguished member of Georgetown's Department of History, and from 1998 to 2002 was provost of the university. It is the only teaching prize for which all undergraduates across all 4 schools vote. The 2017 Dorothy Brown Award is presented to Professor Heidi Elmendorf. Professor Elmendorf graduated magna cum laude as a biology major from Princeton University, where she was elected to membership in Phi Beta Kappa. She received a National Science Foundation pre-doctoral fellowship to study at Stanford University, earning a PhD in microbiology and immunology. Reflecting on her interest in the formation of students, she took an unusual step for a scientist in training of teaching and mentoring at Phillips Academy for 3 years before returning to the research laboratory for a postdoctoral fellowship in the Laboratory of Parasitic Diseases at the National Institute of Health. Professor Elmendorf joined the faculty of Georgetown's Department of Biology in 1999. Among the department's strongest young researchers, she was awarded several federal grants on her work on understanding the gene expression, cell biology, and potential treatments for the intestinal parasite Giardia. At the same time, she has been devoted to the scholarship of and innovation in science education, including welcoming Georgetown undergraduates into teaching in DC public schools, co-founding and co-directing an innovative undergraduate major in the biology of global health, and working to provide access to science for all, including directing the newly named Regent Science Scholars. Each year, Professor Elmendorf welcomes more than 250 students into her Foundations of Biology class and several dozen into the Biology of Global Health major. Even more, though, she welcomes those students into her life, as she serves as a role model of a brilliant thinker, creative problem solver, devoted instructor, thoughtful researcher, and substantial person. For her students and colleagues, Heidi Elmendorf serves as a beacon of accomplishment and a remarkable example of all that a scholar, teacher, and mentor can be. It is an honor to invite my classmates and our guests to acknowledge this remarkable member of our academic community with our applause. Thank you, Professor Elmendorf, for everything that you've done for Georgetown.
Thinking back at that new student convocation I mentioned 4 years ago, the program started with a speech by that year's McTie speaker, Freeman Condon, a senior in the School of Nursing and Health Studies. His speech, some of you may recall, was designed to offer a glimmering of what was ahead. At today's convocation, we also begin with student speakers. We have not one but two of the most accomplished of your fellow seniors to share with you the richness of their Georgetown experience. James Pavor of Georgia is a senior in SFS majoring in science, technology, and international affairs. At Georgetown, he has involved himself heavily in the university's tech scene, representing the school at hackathon competitions, contributing to policy research at the Security and Software Engineering Center, leading information security efforts at the Corp, and volunteering as a mentor for the GU Women's Coders organization. Next year, he will begin work on a doctorate in cybersecurity at Oxford University as a Rhodes Scholar. James.
If you've been following the headlines recently, it goes without saying how terrifying a world awaits us out there. Indeed, these trying times were first prophesied by CBS News way back in 2007 under the headline, "The Snake People Are Coming." Yes, I said snake people. The Huffington Post jumped on the bandwagon this summer, reminding us, snake people, they're kind of a big deal. BuzzFeed was next with its horrifying September listicle. 28 things snake people are killing in cold blood. Their words, not mine. By December, the Wall Street Journal was offering advice to help us adjust to new lives under our reptilian overlords. Is communism cool? The headline pondered. Ask a snake person. And this past February, Forbes confirmed the worst, announcing snake people are taking over the American workplace. Those of you wondering when you last saw the person next to you blink, I commend your instinct. There are thousands of snake people in this room. However, you can relax. You see, these headlines derive from a marvelous browser plugin I installed that automatically, whenever I'm online, replaces the word millennials with the phrase snake people. Thus effortlessly converting preachery to parody. Even with the plugin's help, however, I struggle to avoid this common bleak view of our generational future. The typical narrative we've all heard begins by bemoaning our addiction to technology, that we've traded friends for screens and real for virtual. From there, it snowballs to myriad dystopias, normally ending with smart refrigerators poisoning our hoard of avocado toast, or some similarly tragic demise. As a cybersecurity student, I know how frightening the technological revolution around us can seem. But as a futurist, I believe our generation is blessed to live at so pivotal a moment in history. How then do we work together to keep tomorrow bright, invent and create freely, but with purpose and moral conviction? I wish I knew. Fortunately, building a great millennium is no solitary task. To leverage the capabilities our generation will discover and perfect, powers which would have seemed magical mere decades ago, we must find consensus and common ground among the diverse billions who share our future. This challenge seems insurmountable, but here at Georgetown, I contend that we've seen evidence to the contrary. We came here as little more than names, plucked out of a selective but fundamentally random hat. We leave a community. Our pasts, our futures, our passions, our beliefs, our fears all differ as much today as they did 4 years ago. Yet, somehow, we've found parts of ourselves here that exist as gifts for others, and we've shared these parts to draw diverse circles of incredible friends around us. So often at graduations, we're reminded to keep the ties that we've made, to maintain these communities. But I think that to keep the future bright, our generation must transcend mere maintenance in favor of construction. Georgetown has been a sort of trial run for us. This meticulously manicured environment has demonstrated the ways an economist and a theologian, or a scientist and an artist, complete each other. How differences in our backgrounds and our beliefs enrich us. Fellow snake people, As you shed your scaly student skins and speedily slither away, I challenge you to build more communities in the image of what you've loved here. Although even a Georgetown graduate feels small in the face of these 7 billion who share our tomorrow, there's a powerful exponentiality in the idea of communities, their ability to endure and to spread. So as each of you goes out and molds and leads your own corner of this enormous world, share what you've loved from this one here and make a future as wonderful as your best moments on the hilltop. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Devika Ranjan of Massachusetts is a senior in the School of Foreign Service, majoring in culture and politics, with a focus on human rights and crisis, and minoring in Arabic. At Georgetown, she has served as president of the School of Foreign Service Academic Council. She's also created theater that engages with issues of diversity, exclusion, and migration at the Laboratory for Global Performance and Politics. Last summer, as a Projects for Peace scholar, Devika facilitated theater workshops with village women who live on the India-Pakistan border. She's also conducted human rights research and participated in humanitarian relief in Palestine and in Germany during the refugee crisis, and then in Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. Next year, she will study sociology and theater as a Marshall Scholar in the United Kingdom. Devika.
When I came to Georgetown, I wanted to save the world. But before I could do that, I had to figure out what exactly I was saving the world from. This mission, like many others, was lost in the excitement of daily life at Georgetown. Somewhere between NSO and the 12th week of midterms, saving the world seemed less difficult than saving an hour in my Google Calendar. Still, Georgetown pushed me to be a woman who works for and with others. So, much to my parents' concern, I wound up on 3 of the most hostile borders in the world: Israel-Palestine, India-Pakistan, and the former Berlin Wall, recreated now between native Germans and Syrian refugees. I traveled to these places to study physical and emotional barriers, extreme polarization. I learned and felt how much hatred was necessary to maintain these walls. These conflicts were no longer dense academic paragraphs in my textbooks. They became routine, ingrained in the lives of my host brothers and taxi drivers and travel companions. The lines between right and wrong, between safe and dangerous, victims and oppressors, they all blurred. I thought that the types of things that I was learning about conflict would be confined to my time abroad. But when I got back to the United States in August of 2016, the shifting political climate reminded me of what I thought I had left behind. Polarization, vitriolic rhetoric, hatred as a political force. These also became ingrained in my daily routine. On the elliptical at Yates, I watch plans to construct a wall on our southern border. Over Leos, I hear of hate crimes against my hijabi friends. I try to support my Jewish and Muslim and Black and queer and trans and undocumented classmates as they defend their right to life in this country and on this campus. When I moved to the United States as a child, the first thing I learned was the Pledge of Allegiance. And before I knew English, I could recite that this nation was indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But that nation, the one I believed I lived in, is very different from the one I see today. Borders and walls everywhere you turn. We at Georgetown are educated to be global leaders, but the answers of our generation don't fit snugly between curves of supply and demand. Textbook knowledge is no longer enough. Now more than ever, we are called to cobble an interdisciplinary and creative understanding of our world's problems and to understand our own role in them. In the words of the American poet Mary Oliver, we must dare to think again of dangerous and noble things, to engage with what is wrong, to never look away from the violence that surrounds us and the violence that we engage and excuse every day, against Black and brown bodies, against economic justice, against equal rights. So maybe when we say that we want to save the world, we should start by saving it from ourselves. I hope that this ceremony isn't really a commencement, not a beginning or an end, but rather a continued point in our education. Push past the cap and gown and the political fatigue and the sarcasm and consider, are we really people who work for and with others? Do we fight oppression, especially when it's not us who are oppressed? Or are we only Hoyas for others when asked about it in a job interview? The stories that we tell ourselves matter. So I pledge allegiance to innovation, to creativity, and to the people in this gym who swell with creativity. I pledge allegiance not to blind optimism, but to imagining a future that is boundlessly, extraordinarily better than the world we inhabit today, no matter how difficult that may seem. And I pledge allegiance to you, as a Hoya who wanted to save the world. I hope that you can make time for it in your Google Cal. Thank you.
Thank you, Devika. At the 2013 New Student Convocation, we also offered you some words of guidance from a member of the faculty. Well, you've heard from quite a few faculty members since that day, so at this concluding ceremony, we have instead asked a member of our extended Georgetown family to address you. Someone who only a few years ago sat where you are now sitting. He speaks on his own, but also on behalf of all those Georgetown classes who've gone before you into the world as women and men for others. David Feigenbaum of Pennsylvania graduated from the School of Nursing and Health Studies in 2007, where he majored in human sciences. At Georgetown, he was a member of the varsity football team, and he founded the National Students of Ailing Mothers and Fathers, a nonprofit support network for grieving college students. After Georgetown, he attended Oxford University as an Albert Britton Scholar, from which he received the degree of Master's in Public Health. He then went on to medical school at the University of Pennsylvania as a Gamble Scholar. After medical school, he completed an MBA from the Wharton School as the Kizik Scholar and Mandel Fellow. But during medical school, he became critically ill with idiopathic multicentric Castleman disease and has since then dedicated his life to curing it. He is now an assistant professor of medicine at the University of Pennsylvania and the founder and executive director of the Castleman Disease Collaborative Network. He's been selected to Forbes 30 Under 30 healthcare list and has received numerous other honors for his groundbreaking biomedical research. David.
Thank you, Dr. Groves. Seniors,
I want to leave you today with 5 imperatives. They are: life is short. Positivity and humor are powerful antidotes. Question the status quo. Find your Castleman disease. By the end of this speech, that should make a little more sense. And reflect. What connects them? 2 stories that start here in McDonough. As a football player here, this is where my parents dropped me at Georgetown when I started in 2003. When it was time for my parents to leave, just as a group of senior football players were walking by, with my mom rubbing my back, my dad turned to my football coach and said, "Coach, take care of my baby boy." At that point, my new teammates burst out laughing, and this inspired the nickname Davy Boy and quickly ended my dreams of big man on campus status. Thanks, Dad. To avoid further embarrassment, I quickly ushered my parents out of McDonough Gym to their car. But just before they left, I noticed that my mom had been very quiet all afternoon. When I asked her what was wrong, she looked at me and said, "What's wrong? You're leaving home, and now I'm going to be stuck alone with your father. That's what's wrong." The following week, I received a phone call from my dad. He said, "Son, I need to tell you something. Your mother has brain cancer." And that was it. That was the moment when everything in my life changed. Over the next 15 months, I traveled home every weekend to spend precious time with my mom, just before she passed away in October of my sophomore year. A few weeks after my mom's passing, my father and I were cleaning out her handbag when we came across a newspaper clipping. Preserved with Scotch tape and mounted on a small piece of cardboard, my mom kept this clipping with her everywhere she went, and now I do the same. It was a quote from Pope John Paul II in his address to the youth in Camagüey. It said, "Dear young people, whether you are believers or not, accept the call to be virtuous. This means being strong within, having a big heart, being rich in the highest sentiments, bold in the truth, courageous in freedom, constant in responsibility, generous in love, invincible in hope." Inspired by those words in my mother's life, I dedicated my life at 19 years old to 2 things. In her memory, I would create a network for grieving college students called AMF, or Ailing Mothers and Fathers, which also were my mom's initials. I would also study to become a doctor, an oncologist, to take on cancer. I wanted revenge. Georgetown provided all of the support and ammunition that I would need. Encouraged by my mentor, Dr. Glavin, to think big, I incorporated AMF as a nonprofit and turned to my other Georgetown mentor, Dean Betty Jacobs, to serve on our board of directors. She taught me everything I needed to know about compassionate leadership. AMF quickly spread across the country to over 200 college campuses. My teammates on the football team, my friends, and my classmates were the best supporters in the world and helped to grow AMF in every way that they could. I love Georgetown. After graduation, I went to Oxford University to pursue a master's in public health focused on cancer prevention. And then I began medical school at the University of Pennsylvania. Then in my 3rd year of medical school, everything changed. I went from training to become a physician to being hospitalized in the very hospital that I was working at and fighting for my own life. I experienced multiple organ failure. A retinal hemorrhage made me blind in my left eye. I gained 70 pounds of fluid and went in and out of consciousness. I was eventually diagnosed with idiopathic multicentric Castleman disease, a rare and deadly illness where the immune system attacks and shuts down the vital organs. Castleman disease is as common as ALS and affects individuals of all ages. My subtype, idiopathic multicentric Castleman disease, is more deadly than lymphoma. 1/3 of us die within 5 years of diagnosis, and another 1/3 die within 10 years. When I didn't immediately respond to chemotherapy, I was read my last rites because no one thought that I would survive. I've considered that moment to be the start of my overtime. I survived thanks to a combination of 7 chemotherapies that obliterated my immune system and finally put my disease into remission. After 5 months hospitalized in critical condition, I finally had hope for the future again. I remember one of the first walks that I took with my dad when I started to feel better. It was New Year's Eve 2010. My belly was filled with about 7 liters of fluid due to the liver and kidney failure, but I was just glad to be able to walk. As we passed the family waiting area, my dad and I noticed a gentleman who looked like he'd been drinking on New Year's Eve, who was slouched in his chair. And on a second lap around the floor, we noticed that this gentleman had fallen on the floor. So my dad ran over to him and helped him back into his chair. And he looked at us and he said, "Thanks so much. Good luck to you and your wife." And my dad and I kind of rounded the corner and thought to ourselves, confused. And then I looked down at my belly and I realized this guy thought that I was my dad's pregnant wife. So I turned to my dad and I said, "Man, you've got an ugly wife." That was an emotional low point, but we laughed so hard. After a year of medical leave, I was able to return to medical school and my previous path of becoming an oncologist. But then 15 months after leaving the hospital, I relapsed on the only drug in development for my disease, and I learned that the medical community had no idea about how to treat my disease. I realized that I could no longer hope that someone else would figure this out. I would need to act. I promised my family that day that I would dedicate the rest of my life, however long that may be, to trying to cure this disease. At the time, I thought that my decision to stop hoping and to start acting was actually in opposition to Pope John Paul's words that had guided my mother. But I later found the remainder of that speech that he made that day. Pope John Paul went on to say, "Happiness is achieved through sacrifice. Do not look outside for what is to be found inside. Do not expect from others what you yourselves can and are called to be or to do." I returned to medical school on a mission. I built an international network of over 400 physicians and researchers and thousands of patients called the Castleman Disease Collaborative Network, and I began conducting research myself in the laboratory. I quickly learned that the field was even worse than I thought. There was no diagnostic criteria, no collaboration, no unifying framework of the disease, and worst of all, no plan. But through our collaborative approach, we have made lightning fast progress. We flipped the previous way that the disease was thought to occur on its head. We published the first ever diagnostic criteria, and we have 11 studies currently in process or waiting for funding to launch. In the midst of all of this, I relapsed again. But this time was different. I was invincible in hope and I was taking action. I identified a treatment from my research that I thought may work, but had never been used to treat Castleman disease before. I started myself on it in January of 2014, and my wife and I got married just a few months later. I just crossed 40 months with no relapses since starting this treatment. This is 5 times longer than my previous average remission. But much more importantly, we're now trying this drug in other patients, and it is helping other patients as well. All that said, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, and I know that I can relapse at any moment. So that brings me back to my 5 imperatives, lessons I hope you'll take with all of you as you go out into the world. The first, life is short. We are all in overtime. I wish that I had never had my last rites read to me, but it has given me an appreciation of life that I never had before. Second, for all the gentlemen in the room, I hope that you're never confused as being a pregnant woman. But if you are, I hope you'll find humor in it and all of the other challenges in life. Number 3, question the status quo. If I hadn't questioned the way Castleman disease was believed to work, I probably wouldn't be here today. 4, find your Castleman disease. Find that thing that motivates you, that makes you passionate, and run after it. If you don't have that thing yet, join us in our battle to fight Castleman disease. I'm thrilled to share that a member of your graduating class, Aaron DePere, is joining my team at the University of Pennsylvania this summer. To be a part of this fight. And finally, reflect on those things that you hope for and you pray for, whether it be a friend having a tough time, a political issue you care about, or a deadly disease that you hope for a cure. Use those hopes and those prayers to guide your actions. Good luck as you go out into the world. And remember, generous in love, invincible in hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. We come now to the moment in which you move as a class from being students to becoming alumni. And to initiate that change, I invite Mr. Richard Luchin, School of Foreign Service class of 1971, President-elect of the Alumni Association, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Groves. At the new student convocation, sitting in McDonough as you are today, you were a group of individuals from different high schools, different states, and even different countries. You remain citizens of those states and countries, but something was added to your identity during that ceremony. You put away your academic gowns in unison to symbolize the journey you have taken together here on the hilltop. Since then, your shared experiences have transformed you into a community of Hoyas who call Georgetown home. And even though you will be leaving the hilltop in 3 short days, you exit as the class of 2017, a tight-knit community that will remain a part of Georgetown forever. The 2017 Alumni Class Committee, headed by Anthony Fadil of California, McDonough School of Business class of 2017, and Nicole Lamb from Hawaii, Georgetown College class of 2017, will be your link to Georgetown and to the Alumni Association through the numerous regional clubs, annual homecoming, and even those 5-year reunions, which now seem so impossibly remote, and which will be upon you sooner than you can believe. These and other opportunities, supported by the Alumni Association, will ensure that you maintain the bonds you have forged here and that you will never forget what a glorious thing it is to be a Hoya. I would ask you all now to stand. Only the graduates. At the new student convocation, as the sign of your matriculation as students, you were given the academic gowns you now wear, Georgetown's first gift to you, the first of the many gifts that we celebrate, thankfully, here today. As you now make the transformation from students to alumni, please take out the pins that you were handed as you entered, but don't put them on yet. These are the official sign of your induction into the Georgetown alumni community, joining the 160,000 alumni who have come before you in their commitment to Georgetown. Accept the pin then as a symbol. See it as a sign that even though you will soon leave the campus, You will be Georgetown's sons and daughters forever. And never forget that to be an alumnus of Georgetown means a lifelong commitment to the highest ideals of leadership and service to the nation and the world. Fellow alumni, as a sign of your continuing unity as members of the class of 2017, please turn to a friend nearby and put on each other's pins. And parents, you can applaud. I now invite all of our guests to rise and join Georgetown's newest alumni class in singing Georgetown's alma mater. The words and music can be found at the back of your program. The alma mater will be led by your classmate, Elizabeth Cardilla of Pennsylvania, Georgetown class of 2017. Please be seated. To inaugurate a lifetime of giving back to an alma mater who has given us all so much, I now invite Katie Birding of Ohio, School of Business class of 2017, and Eva Wu of New Jersey, School of Foreign Service class of 2017, to present your senior class gift.
We would first like to thank all the members of the class of the 2017 Fund Board: Tyler Bird, Era Chien, Manny Tran, Jennifer Truong, and Erica Tsai. Without their hard work, dedication, and passion for Georgetown, this effort would not have been possible. And thanks to Murphy Kate Delaney from the Office of Advancement, who helped the board to establish and execute our vision while serving at our most constant source of motivation and guidance. But most of all, thank you, all 1,347 Hoyas of the class of 2017 who have chosen to make their gift to the class of 2017 fund. You all have played a key role in the success of the class of 2017 fund and the effort to build and maintain our class's legacy at Georgetown. With your help, we have officially set a new Georgetown senior class giving record. This year, as a result of hitting 80% participation, the Board of Regents has matched our gift on a percentage basis for an additional $75,000 commitment to scholarships. We are deeply grateful to the regents who participated in the match, and on behalf of the class of 2017, we thank you. The totaled sum of their match and the senior class gift will fund the equivalent of 4 scholarships.
Georgetown is a living tradition of the highest commitment to leadership and service, of which all of us Hoyas are a part. For the past 4 years, we have taken part in that tradition as students on the hilltop. Now, as alumni, we begin to share the responsibility of keeping this tradition alive beyond the hilltop by living up to the principles and values of our Georgetown education, and by giving back to the hilltop through our time and resources. In this spirit of profound gratitude, we now ask Dr. DeGioia to join us at the podium. President DeGioia, as co-chairs of the Class of 2017 Fund, and on behalf of our class, it is our privilege and our pleasure to present to you this check for $114.35, the Class of 2017 Senior Gift to the University. May Georgetown live forever.
$100,014. Thank you, Catherine and Eva, for your leadership of our senior class fund. I want to thank each of you in the class of 2017 for this extraordinary gift. Your generosity demonstrates an exceptional commitment to our university and to the future students who will join our community, who seek, as you have, to engage in the work of formation here at Georgetown. And for this, we are grateful to each of you. So thank you, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. I wish to thank our student speakers, James and Devika, for sharing such thoughtful reflections on their years here on the hilltop. And David, it was a little over a decade ago when you were last on this stage. In the fall of your senior year in 2006 at New Student Convocation, you were the McTie speaker. And it was an unforgettable moment then, and you gave us another one today, and thank you for being home and being back on the hilltop. I also like to take just a moment to recognize 2 university leaders who've made lasting contributions to our campus and to the lives of our students. To Chet Gillis, the dean of our college, the largest and oldest of our undergraduate schools, who will conclude his 9 years of service as dean next month. An exceptional scholar, talented administrator, dedicated member of our faculty who has served our community with distinction since 1988. Chet, on behalf of all of us, I wish to take this opportunity to thank you for your extraordinary service to Georgetown, for the role that you've played in the lives of so many of our students, and we look forward to your continuing contributions as you return to our faculty. Chet. And we also recognize another individual for his commitment and service to our community, Edward Montgomery, the Dean of our McCourt School of Public Policy, our newest school, established in 2013, the same year that many of you joined our community, has provided new opportunities for our undergraduates to engage, to study, and to experience the development of public policy. And we wish Ed our very best as he moves on as the new president of Western Michigan University. Ed, we're deeply grateful for your service. Well, to all of our students, congratulations. It is a pleasure to be with you, all of you, and with your families as we officially begin our commencement activities. During the next few days, you will have the opportunity to reflect upon the remarkable journey that you have traveled over the course of these past few years, on the ways in which you have grown, on the knowledge that you have acquired, on the relationships that you have forged, on the vision that you have begun to develop for your life, for the life that you wish to lead, and for the impact that you wish to make on our world. It probably seems like only yesterday when your journey began, when you first came to our hilltop, as young women and men with exceptional talents and abilities, eager to explore new ideas, new ways of thinking, of engaging our world. When we gathered together for New Student Convocation to inaugurate your time here at Georgetown, you may have been full of excitement, full of questions, even a little anxiety about what lay ahead. And you may be feeling many of those same emotions again here at this Senior Convocation. Hold on to your excitement. Trust in all that you have accomplished and in your ability to learn. Know that you have the skills and the self-knowledge necessary to overcome challenges just as you have done at different moments during your undergraduate years here. You've accomplished a great deal here at Georgetown, and the knowledge that you have acquired is both expansive and deep. Knowledge of self, knowledge of your chosen area of focus, knowledge of how you can engage the world around you. Through the time spent with faculty, with mentors and friends, in retreats, in student organizations, in athletics, and internships, in moments of quiet reflection, you've developed an understanding of your strengths, how you can best meet challenges, what brings you the most meaning, what truly matters most to you, what enables you to be your most authentic self. Today we celebrate this journey you've made and the one on which you are about to embark. This is an extraordinary moment in your lives. There's nothing else quite like it. And I encourage you to cherish it. Cherish those around you in this room, to reflect on all that you've achieved together, all that it means to have lived these years of your lives here on this hilltop, and to trust in the person that you have become. We're all very proud of what you've accomplished, and we're even more proud to place our trust in you, the newest daughters and sons of Georgetown. So now, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to make this official. Ladies and gentlemen of the Georgetown class of 2017, and the culminating event of this convocation, I ask you to rise to be admitted to the ceremonies of commencement. As president of Georgetown University, it is my great pleasure to admit the members of the class of 2017 to the ceremonies of commencement. These ceremonies, beginning today, continue through tomorrow and Saturday with the trapayas and the conferring of degrees by our schools, and conclude on Sunday, the 21st of May, with the baccalaureate mass. Ladies and gentlemen of the Georgetown class of 2017, congratulations. Your moment has arrived.
Seniors, how long's it been?
It's been so long since last do not lie down, forever lie down. Or have you any money to bet? Lie down, forever lie down. There goes old Georgetown, straight for a touchdown. See how they gain ground. Lie down, forever lie down. Lie down, forever lie down. Rah, 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 rah for Georgetown. Cheer for victory today. Ere the sun is sunk to rest in the cradle of the west, in the clouds of proud will coat the blue and gray. We've heard those loyal fellows up the Yale brag and boast about their hula hula. We've heard the Navy yell, we've listened to Cornell. We've heard the sons of Harvard tell how crimson lines could hold them. True, true, rah, rah, dear the Holy Cross, the proud old Princeton Tigers never had a loss but together.
Please remain standing if you could for the benediction, which will be offered today by Nikki Kandaria of Texas, School of Nursing and Health Studies, class of 2017.
Today's Hindu blessing comes from the Taittiriya Upanishad, 8th century before the Common Era. In translation from the original Sanskrit, it reads, "Before you depart into the world, having graduated from this place of learning, dearest students, listen to the Lord's own summary of the essential teachings. Be honest, speaking and acting in accordance with good morals. Seek to be righteous and just in your every action. Never neglect daily study of and reflection on how to better oneself and our society. Do not be swayed to stray from truth and justice by whatever incentives the world can offer. Avoid neglecting your own happiness, but know that in the joy of others, we find our own. Seek to share the wisdom you have gained from the teachers without your own biases. Learn to give unselfishly with faith, joy, and wisdom. And if you ever find yourself lacking an answer or are confused as to the way forward, seek out humble and gentle people and emulate them. For surely the way to eternal betterment is in humility. Thus is the teaching. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Thank you.
If you will, please remain standing in your places until the academic procession has recessed. We cordially invite all of you to follow the procession to the reception that has been prepared in Leo J. O'Donovan Hall. That wasn't a joke. Thank you especially to the musicians, to our speakers, and to our guests who watched the ceremony from the tent. The exercises of the Senior Class Convocation 2017 are now officially at an end, and commencement has officially begun.
gentlemen. Dan? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to play with us. Yeah. Dan, can I see the check?